Last lesson we looked at pattern number 1. Today we learn the second pattern. Here are 2 sample sentences, both pattern 2. Based on what you know to be pattern 1, what do you think is the pattern for these sentences? When examining a sentence, remember, we always start with the verbs. Both of these verbs are be verbs. After the verb, we look for the subject. And of course, we need both a subject and a verb to form a clause. So far, it's the same as pattern 1. So the difference must be after the verb. Unlike pattern 1, both of these sentences end with a noun. In order to finish this pattern, we need to figure out how this noun is functioning. There are 7 noun functions, 6 of which will appear in our patterns. In fact, our ability to identify noun function is crucial to our ability to identify patterns. Hopefully you guessed correctly. The noun following the be verb is the predicate noun. So this pattern gives us a subject and a subject complement, the predicate nominative, that refer to the same object, as you see here. Jack equals Jack. So is this our pattern? Not quite. There's another version of pattern 2 that I need to show you. If these are also pattern 2, then what needs fixing in our pattern formula? Looks like we need to add predicate adjective as well. The test for a predicate adjective and predicate nominative is to replace the verb with equals. If the sentence makes sense, then you have a predicate adjective or predicate noun. The new element of pattern 2 is the PN or PA, also called subject complements. Predicate nouns and predicate adjectives are both subject complements. That means that they both rename or describe the subject. There is still just the one noun, the one Jack or the one Robbie. We merely have 2 different ways of stating this noun. Time for a concept check. Pause the video until you have the answer. Always start with the verb since the patterns are built around them. So our verb here is, a be verb. Next, you need to find the subject. Once we have the subject, we need to see what our be verb is linked to. The only part of the sentence that matters to us are the patterned parts. The rest of the sentence is modifier. This sentence ends with a noun, so we have a predicate nominative. These parts are the modifiers. A, high, school, all of these are adjectives. Next sentence, again, we start with the verb. Next, we find the subject. Finally, we need to see what follows the verb. Here we have a prep phrase telling us something about time. Subject plus be verb plus adverb of time. This one is pattern 1. Now let's go back to the beginning of our sequence. Start with the verb. Next, the subject. In this case, it's compound. Sammy and Olivia are both the subject. Once we have the subject, we need to see what our be verb has linked to. A predicate adjective. Because this ends with a subject complement, we have pattern 2. That's it for today. See you next time with pattern 3.